The Type 11 Prospector, the first ever dedicated mining vessel to be introduced into Elite Dangerous, will be arriving into ARK's powered early access on September the 23rd. As part of the Elite Dangerous partner program, we've been fortunate enough to have access to a work in progress version of the ship, and in this video we're going to tell you exactly what we thought of it and the difference that it's keen to introduce to mining in the game. For this review I'm going to be looking at the Stellar version of the Type 11 as it appears in the preview build that we have access to as an Elite Dangerous partnered channel. Being the Stellar edition of the ship, all its modules are A rated and I've not engineered any of them at all. What you'll get here is the ship in the raw, straight out of the shrink wrap. For a review like this you'd normally expect me to start by telling you that it has a jump range unladen of around 20 plus light years, or that it can comfortably boost to around 346 meters per second and has 4 utility slots. Utility slots, by the way, that we were unable to confirm in our recent breakdown of all the ship's other internals, which you can find linked on screen now if you haven't seen it. I could go through all of that, and I would for a regular ship, but the Type 11 isn't a regular ship. It's the first time Frontier have created a dedicated mining vessel for Elite, and that dedication to its chosen profession extends all the way from the rugged stone quarry aesthetics to the multiple mining locked hardpoints and module slots. The Type 11 is absolutely a miner, and in Frontier's own words it's designed to be the best miner in the game, so I'd imagine what you're really interested in is how does it mine when compared to the current mining tools we have available. On the test server that we had access to we didn't have all of our other regular ships, so we're not able to test it next to a fully engineered Imperial cutter for example. On the test shard we do however have access to FDev's current crop of jump starter ships, including the mining jumpstart Crate Mark II with its duo of mining lasers. So here's how it stacks up next to that ship in a platinum overlap hotspot. First things first, it's important to stress that what we get access to with these preview servers is still very much a work in progress product. It's been the case with all the ships before the Type 11 that one thing or another has changed between partnered content creators getting access to new ships and the ships going on general release, so keep that in mind. I took both ships to the same platinum overlap hotspot and mined roughly physically similar sized rocks with as close to the same platinum content as I could get. The Type 11 mined a rock that had 46.49% platinum in it. Using just the new mining volley repeater large hardpoint, it stripped the rock bare in 53 seconds and gathered a hair's width shy of 16 tonnes of refined ore. Overall, including hoovering up all the ore, the rock took a total of 1 minute and 47 seconds. The crate found a slightly bigger yield rock with 48.41% platinum but stripped it quicker in 39 seconds. The yield of ore came in just shy of 10.5 tonnes, so very roughly 5 tonnes less, but it mined the rock and scooped everything up in just 1 minute and 4 seconds, meaning it was ready to move on to another rock around 40 seconds before the T11 was. So in our small dataset test the T11 recovered more ore, but it took longer to scoop it all up despite using more limpets. However, the T11 has a cargo hold of 256 tonnes in total and the crate we used had just 128 tonnes, meaning you're at the coalface longer in the Type 11 compared to the crate, and so technically your haul overall will indeed be bigger as the crate will need to empty its hold more often. I'd stress again this is a test on a build whose numbers are possibly subject to change. However, with what we've seen the Type 11's new hardpoint doesn't necessarily leave you with a bigger haul of ore overall. I did do one more test on the T11 with a mining laser attached as well as the repeater, and the yield from a bigger rock was no more impressive or quicker. Overall, it felt like the numbers would all largely even out to become much of a muchness in the long run. If you're currently a hardcore laser miner in a Type 9 or an Imperial cutter, then your primary concern is around the rocks per hour and how many tons you can bring in one sitting. I'm not convinced that the Type 11 will offer you any significantly higher numbers than you're getting right now, and so I can't recommend it. It does however have the advantage of being able to land at smaller ports, but there are plenty of ships in the game such as the Mark I Python or the Crate Mark II that, whilst not as pretty, will give much the same reward for input of time, and they won't cost you any arcs to do it. There is one slightly more troubling issue as well. The repeater weapon produces a significant amount of flashing light in the cockpit. Photosensitivity is not something we have to deal with here, but I've heard enough feedback from those running and watching live streams of the new ship in the less than 10-hour period that it's been available to convince me that it's a serious enough issue to warrant caution from the user at the very least. Overall then, the Type 11 is an interesting enough addition to the lineup of new ships, and I wanted to love the ship, I really did, but I'm struggling to understand who I might recommend it to in its current form, especially in early access where a real money transaction is involved. Its aesthetics and visual design are great, but the performance for what was billed by Frontier as a different type of mining really didn't appear to stack up to even light scrutiny. If you're looking to get into laser mining in a medium class vessel, there are plenty of free and more than adequate options in the game for you right now that would serve just as well. When the ship eventually comes out of early access, it's definitely worth a look, but I'd be very cautious of the photosensitivity issues if Frontier don't address the issue before it goes into general circulation. For me personally, so far it's ended up being the least impressive of Elite's new wave of ships, and I take no pleasure in expressing that thought. Frontier do look at the feedback that comes from these partner program preview builds, so it's worth keeping an eye on what happens with the Type 11 from here onwards. If and when we hear of any changes, we will of course let you know right here. What are your thoughts on the Type 11 now that you've seen it in action? Are you a laser miner in the game right now? And if you are you tempted at all to swap to the Type 11? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the channel so that you see all our videos and community posts, and if you'd like to support our work here at the Burr Pit, you can also join us on Patreon. Links to that and everything else we've talked about in this video you'll find linked below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.